The book is called The Boy on the Beach, and just from that, many will already know who we're talking about. The photograph of his lifeless body washed ashore half a world away was so powerful, it jolted virtually all who saw it, including governments, into recognizing the desperation facing those fleeing the civil war in Syria. That boy was Alan Kurdi. His aunt is Tima Kurdi, and she tells their story in The Boy on the Beach, My Family's Escape from Syria and Our Hope for a New Home. She is also co-founder of the Kurdi Foundation, and she joins us now for more. It is such a delight to meet you.
Pleasure.
I've actually wanted to meet you for a long time because you've become maybe the most important champion for refugee rights in the whole world because of the story of your family. So let's tell the story of your family. You grew up in Syria.
Yes.
What was it like growing up in Syria?
Syria, you know, I was born and raised in Damascus. The most, to me, it was so beautiful, peaceful, and safe. Our family, our neighbor, we all live together, and you know, it doesn't matter what kind of religion, if you're Christian or Muslim or anything, we all respect each other.
So you had a very sort of normal middle-class upbringing.
Very normal. We had everything what we need.
And you were one of 6 kids?
Yes.
Where are you in the birth order?
Second.
You're number 2 out of 6 kids.
Yes.
And actually, you want to put this photo up now, Sheldon? Is that you with the big hair in the middle?
Yes, that's me. My 16th birthday.
16th birthday.
This is how we were.
How did you end up leaving Syria and coming to Canada?
I got married, and he was living here in Vancouver, and he sponsored me, so I immigrated in 1992.
And the marriage did not last?
No, not for me.
Did you think about leaving Canada and moving back to Syria after your divorce?
For me, no, because I have my son, Alan, and of course his father lived here, so like...
that was not an option?
No, it wasn't.
I want to read something now from the book, and maybe you will help me with some of the pronunciation if I get it wrong. Sheldon, bring this graphic up if you would. By the middle of July 2012, more than 1 million Syrians had to flee their homes. The most feasible option for the displaced was to seek refuge in less dangerous areas within Syria. But too many regions had become dangerous, with hundreds of different rebel groups assuming control of cities, towns, and villages, and fighting against al-Assad's military forces. Some of these regions were called liberated, meaning liberated from the regime. More often, it meant being liberated from food, water, electricity, schools, hospitals, and safe shelter. And if you happened to be a woman and your town suddenly instituted Sharia law and Sharia courts, you were liberated from the freedom to leave your house without a khimar? Khimar, and an abaya, the face-covering veil, and the ankle-length robe. So let's compare now. By July 2012, what is life like for your family back in Syria now?
I only have my father back in Damascus still. He refused to leave. And every time I talk to him, he's always have hope that Syria will rebuild and peace will come to Syria no matter what.
What about your other brothers and sisters?
Well, first they went to Kobani. Turkey was not an option to anybody. They just want to go to the safer place.
We're going to bring a map up here, Tima, and you can help us through this and tell us. So there you are in the southernmost part of the map in Damascus.
Damascus,
and you all wanted to go north to Kobani.
Exactly.
To get as far away from the trouble as possible.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about your brother Abdullah, because something awful happened to him that eventually convinced him he had to go. What was that?
It's very hard to talk about it. It was the horrible thing I ever heard in my life that any human being can do to any other person. When Abdullah was traveling back from Kobani to Damascus, just in the beginning, between 2011, 2012, and he was coming back to visit home to Kobani, that's when he said, I don't know who they are. That's why he said it's some rebel. They have a long beard, and their Arabic was almost is not the Syrian dialect. It's something like a foreign people, and so they captured him. That they know he's Kurdish, and they took him to a place. It's like a house, empty house, where they accuse him being a Kurdish fighter, and that he's traveling, doing some weapon, you know, where you getting your weapon for the Kurdish people, who you buying it from.
Which he was not doing.
No. And he keeps saying to them, like, you know, I am just a normal person. I have my wife and my kids in Kobani. Yes, I am Kurdish, but I don't know what you're talking about. So...
can you tell us what they did to him? I know this is terrible.
After a few days, probably, he said almost 2 weeks, they captured him with tortures, put his hand, you know, from the ceiling, tie him up, like 4 other men from different room. They come one day and they said, we have enough from your lie. You have to talk to us about you Kurdish, we're coming after you, and you all kafir. Kafir mean you're not a true Muslim. They call the Kurdish that way. And he said, talk to me. You have to tell me. And Abdullah was just saying, I swear to God, nothing, until somebody just hold his chin, brought the players, and opened his mouth and start pulling out his teeth one by one. When Abdullah was telling me the story, I almost fainted to hear it, that how they can pull the teeth, like how long it take them to take even one. And he said, sister, he couldn't even talk about it. So for him, he said he passed out for, he doesn't know how long. When he wake up after that, with lots of blood coming from his teeth, and so painful, he said, my brain was almost gonna explode from my head. And I'm looking, I'm dizzy, and it's dark room. And then one person, he said to him that they let him go, basically. They had the wrong person. And that's when Abdullah, he was relieved to leave, but he said to me, even relieved I wanna walk, I couldn't even walk. He said, I walked, he said, he think it was a midnight, and he walked for hours and hours and hours in the dark, traumatized, that he's so scared that another person is gonna capture him. Until finally, it was like almost daylight, almost, and then he saw a car. He hid first, and then he get the courage. He said, I don't care who's gonna be in this car. I'm gonna stand in front of it and get for help. If they're gonna take me, you know, I'm dead anyway. So it happened to be a very nice person and drove him close to Kobani.
How hard was it for you to be safely living in Canada while the rest of your family was dealing with all of this misery overseas?
I felt so hopeless that I tried my best to help them whatever they want. For basically what I can do, encourage them there is hope. Or, okay, do you want money? You're sick, here's the money. Do you want to feed your family? Here is money. That's all what I can do, but it took a few years when they finally fled to Turkey, and when I decided, you know, I need to do something. I used to Google sitting here and Google different organizations that were set up to help the refugee in Turkey, and even talking to them, email them, please, I have a family, can you do this to them? This, no response. Until I decided, you know what, I really want to go there. And maybe because I speak English, maybe I can go to the UN staff who speak English. Maybe I can get them helpful.
Yeah. So you went to Turkey?
Yes.
And you saw the conditions in which they were living?
Yes.
What was it like?
I was shocked. And that's when I said, this is worse what we see in the news. We never heard about it. We never even seen it in the news. Like you walking in the street when I arrive, and I'm walking and I see in the park thousands of the family on the street. They're shouldering all over, you know, begging for, you know, piece of bread, and they want to eat, and they're sick. It just breaks my heart.
But at this point, do you not try to get the Canadian government to try to help to get your family out?
For months and months, and every single day, I was crying for help from, you name anything in Canada, across Canada. It was really, really hard for me to go through this.
But you couldn't get them out?
I couldn't. It was impossible that our government, the restriction to bring any Syrian refugee, it was, I get so upset, why only the Syrian? Like if I'm gonna bring them from Turkey, all the Syrian in Turkey, they were given a yabancı card from the Turkish government. In a website in Canada, yabancı card is accepted for Iraqi from Turkey, from Iranian, Afghani, whatever nationality, but not to the Syrian people.
And I guess part of the problem was they didn't have their own passports, right?
And no passport also, and they're not registered at the UN in Ankara, which is, again, it's another story that, okay, the majority of people, like there's millions of them, they're coming, pouring to the refugee camp, and my family tried. First thing when they entered Turkey, they tried to go to the UN, but because they were overwhelmed, so they can register them, and they told them, go to the city and find your way, basically. So all those ID was not impossible. So I drove my family crazy, send them money just to go take the bus and go in a lineup and get me this paper what the Canadian want. Now, honestly, lots of people will ask me, like, do you blame the Canadian government? I don't blame the Canadian government, but I wish that the restriction was easier. And I'm hoping now that any family want to bring their family from somewhere in danger should not face what my family have to face.
Tima, I want to ask you about that fateful boat trip that Abdullah and his wife and his 2 children took. That trip was supposed to happen many times, and many times you and Abdullah talked, and he said, the waves are too big. We can't go. It's too dangerous. He knew that it was trouble to go under those conditions. And of course, you desperately wanted him to get out and be able to come to the West and be reunited, and encouraged him to keep doing so. Tell us about the night in question. He got on it wasn't a dinghy, right? It was a solid boat.
The last one.
The last trip, yes. When he eventually left, on a solid boat, overcrowded to be sure, a very dangerous night. Where was he trying to get to? Well,
the first thing, they tried to get to Greece, of course.
Okay, so
that's
he wanted
the first step.
Wanted to leave Turkey to get to Greece?
That's what everybody does, yes.
And it's supposed to be, what, about a half an hour on the sea?
Yes, yes.
And you found out, obviously, after the fact, what happened that night.
I think the world knows what happened that night. I get the text message from him August the 31st that we are leaving tonight. After a month, the text messages, we're leaving, we got caught, we come back, we're leaving tomorrow. Like,
he's paid thousands of dollars to a smuggler to help get him out, right?
yes,
and
finally,
the
$4,000.
Yes.
So what happened at that text message, we were with the family talking to each other that he's leaving and we're waiting to hear from him and nobody can hear him, anything from him. So we were very, very worried about it, and we feel like we all, the way we say it in Arabic, is our heart is boiling. There is something is happening, but we can't hear from him for 2 days. Until that morning, when I just felt, I fall asleep for a few hours and I jump out of my bed, butterfly in my heart, that so much worried. I went to my phone and I saw the dozen missed call from all my family. That opening my cell phone, I know there is something terribly happened. And that's when I phoned first my sister in Damascus, Shireen, and the connection was so bad that I can't hear what she was talking. All what I heard, Abdullah, and sound, she was crying to me.
It's okay, take your time.
I will never forget that moment. Never, never in my life. And I don't wish it to nobody.
Tima, you eventually saw what the rest of the world saw, which was undoubtedly the most impactful picture maybe taken this century. And you've put it in the book, and we're going to show it right now because we want people to remember your nephew, Alan, who was only 2 years old. And when you saw this picture, Tima,
it's the boy on the beach picture.
the boy on the beach.
I cannot look at it.
You can't look at it now.
I can't.
I understand.
I can't.
You bought those clothes for him that he was wearing.
Yes, I did. I bought the clothes for him when I was in Turkey. I remember exactly, Abdullah said, it's too big for him and the winter is coming. And I said to him, he will wear it next year in the summer and he will be older. And I was hoping that I will come back and see them again. But when I saw that photo, my sister-in-law, Anna, actually here in Toronto, they had the picture in the news before Vancouver. She's the one, she forwarded to my husband. And my husband, when he come to me and he said, I don't know if you should see this picture. And I said to him, I want to see it. And the thing, when I look at that picture, it hurt me so much. I wasn't sure he was Alan or Abdullah's son. That clothes was, I know that clothes, that shoes especially. I bought it for him, but it's the way he was lying down in that beach. It's just break my heart that no baby.
Should have to suffer that, ever.
Ever.
Right.
And that's when, of course, after I wasn't sure, after I forwarded
the picture to my sister-in-law in Turkey, Usun, and I said to her, do you know this picture? Who's this picture? I thought Ghalib, to be honest, in the beginning, because it looks older. First, it looks like he's bigger, kind of like the way he lied down. I thought maybe Ghalib, but I wasn't sure. And that's when she said, this is Alan. He was wearing those clothes when they left Istanbul. And from the first phone call, I was so desperate to talk to my brother and be with him. That phone call, when he was, you can imagine what the father feels to lose your whole family. That's when he planted that seed in my heart to not be silent. He said to me, the picture of my son is the wake-up call to the world.
Well, he was right about that. Because he lost his wife and two sons, Alan and Alan's older brother.
And Ghalib and his wife, Rihane.
Yeah.
So,
yes, all died on that when that boat capsized.
Because his message was, the Syrian people have suffered. That time, it was 4 years.
Here's the picture of, you always say in the book that Alan always had a smile on his face, right?
It's beautiful. That's what I want to see.
Always happy.
And this is why I carry it everywhere where I go. It's just, this is the picture I want to see. It's children.
Beautiful.
Like every family they have. It's the world to them.
And you have them around your neck.
I carry it with me.
Your two nephews.
Yes.
But miraculously, Abdullah survived. He was pulled under the water over and over, and somehow he survived. How did that happen?
Honestly, I wasn't there how that happened, but we believe in faith. And he feel, of course, you know, guilty about why they have to die and I have to survive. It's add up more pain to him that he survived, but he always tell me that I don't know which one is better, to die 1,000 times a day with pain and suffer, or just die that day with them. So either way is a tragic feeling.
Abdullah was right when he said that picture was going to be a wake-up call to the world. And ironically, Tima, he got all kinds of attention and royal treatment once the world found out that he was the father of the boy on the beach, right? Politicians paid attention to him. They put him up in fancy hotels. That's terribly ironic, isn't it?
No, I don't want to sound that, you know, we don't appreciate the offer or anything like this. But to me and to Abdullah, where was all this when my family needed?
Where was the help? Where was the attention?
Yes.
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 Good question. Okay, let's talk about your hopes for the future. You were a hairdresser for a living.
Yes.
You don't do that anymore. You have a new mission in life.
Yes.
What's your new mission?
My new mission, that I want to continue to help the other suffering people and to be their voice and to bring awareness. Hopefully my book, The Boy on the Beach, that's my goal, that bringing awareness. And I want to continue to speak up after I witness also being at the refugee camp and heard all their story and they suffer, and they all have hope, but they have no voice.
Is it your hope that other members of your family will eventually join you in Canada?
Of course, I would love to have all my family with me, but...
Do they want that?
You know, sometimes when I talk to them, yes and no. Of course, they always want to have peace and bring peace to Syria. They will go home. And
Yes.
majority of people, that the Syrian people, honestly, that's what they want. Why we can work toward peace, and we want to go home.
I think that's an interesting point that you make in the book. You don't care about who's on whose side.
No.
You just want an end to this war.
Exactly, because those people in the refugee camp, an example, million of them, and each of them I talk, it doesn't matter what side they took and if flee because of this side. After 7 years, they suffer enough, I think, and all of them, they think like, how many more years can our children live in this refugee camp? What kind of future they have? So they all want hope and peace, so they all can go home. So why we individual people don't take any side and work toward the peace? So try to help them to go home, try to help them to rebuild their life in their country.
Tima, I want to ask you one more question, and that is, I mean, we have seen here during our conversation how hard this is for you to relive the details of your life and your family's life over the last few years. Yeah. And yet you've put it all in a book, and you're on a book tour now, and you're obviously going to be asked to speak about this over and over and over. Why do that?
I want the image of the boy on the beach, Tima Kurdi, my nephew, to be a permanent reminder in people's heart, so we do not forget, and urge the government, the people, to put their voice over there and say enough suffering of the people. We should all work for peace, so it doesn't happen to anyone. But if you look right now, today, to almost 3 years after that tragedy, how many photos of a drowning children in that sea, desperate family, continue. So I want to put a stop on that. I want people to understand that there is nobody, any family, who live peacefully in their home and happy, that they just want to leave and leave everything behind. I want them to understand that they flee by force, not by choice. And nobody should ever have to make that choice. So Syrian people for the last 7, 8 years almost now, I think they suffer enough and they all want to go home. And they're looking for that hope. Me and you and everybody else can work and give them that hope.
First of all, I want to thank you for coming in and sharing your views with us. I want to thank you for writing the book. It is an absolutely heartbreaking but important story that you've told. And I'm certainly grateful to have read it. Thank you so much, Tima.
Thank you, my
Salam
pleasure.
alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Tima Kurdi, the boy on the beach.
The Agenda with Steve Bacon is brought to you by the Chartered Professional Accountants of Ontario, helping businesses stay on the right side of change with strategic thinking, insightful decisions, and business leadership. Are you on the right side of change? Ask an Ontario CPA.